Now, Ukraine destroyed 3 Russian reconnaissance groups and destroyed the Russian supply train. The Ukrainian army destroyed a group of Russian reconnaissance on the Sloviansk front, and at the same time repelled the Russian attack on the Bakhmut front. Fighting continued on the Avdiivka front. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced on Facebook that on the Sloviansk front, Russian forces fired on the areas of Nortsivka, Chepel, Rushuvahar, Ridna, Vernopilya, Husarivka, Dybrivny, Dolina and Avdiivka by use guns, tanks and cannons of different calibers. The report of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine details, near Mazanivka, the Armed Forces of Ukraine contacted and destroyed a group of Russian reconnaissance. On the Bakhmut front, Russian forces used tanks and artillery near Berestovo, Soldar, Bakhmut, Kostiantinivka, Vesela Dolina, Zaitsevo, Vershina, Kodyma, Vesely, and Travniv. They carried out airstrikes on Pokrovsky, Novolyahansky, Soldar, Vershina, Yakovlivka, Bakhmut, and Kodyma. In the Yakovlivka area, Russian forces tried to conduct reconnaissance but were discovered by the Ukrainian side and suffered losses. The surviving members of the reconnaissance group fled in panic, the Ukraine General Staff said. Russian forces tried to improve their tactical positions in the Soldar, Vershina, and Bakhmut regions with attacks, but they were unsuccessful and had to retreat. On the Avdiivka front, Russian forces shelled near Novokalino, Novobakhmutivka, Pisky, and Krasnohorivka. They carried out an air raid near New York. They launched attacks on the Avdiivka and Pisky fronts without success, and the wars continued. On the Kramatorsk front, in the face of significant losses of personnel and military equipment, along with the low morale and psychological state of Russian servicemen, Russian forces did not carry out active offensive actions. Poll. Russian forces shelled Ukrainian military positions and civilian infrastructure in the areas of Siversk, Kryva Luka, Serebryanka, Ivano-Dorivka, Ryhorivka, Svarnivka, Verkhnokamiansky and Cern using artillery and vehicles get a raise. Airstrikes were carried out near Serebryanka and Ryhorivka. For the purpose of scouting logistic support routes and critical infrastructure objects, they conducted aerial reconnaissance using UAVs. Russia does not carry out active combat operations on the Novopavlivka or Zaporizhzhia fronts. They conducted systematic shelling on civilian and military infrastructure in the areas of Marinka, Pavlivka, Novosilka, Novopil, Malinivka, Uliapol, Uliapilsky, Orikhiv and Kamyansk. On the Kharkiv front, Russian forces conducted artillery shelling on Kharkiv, Prudyanka and Nov districts and 14 other towns and cities.